Hello everyone. This is Amy from Knit Collage, and I'm excited to be here with another little making vlog video for you. I'm trying to do these a little more frequently, which is so much fun, but also means I don't have potentially as much to share because I haven't been knitting enough to have an hour's worth of things to show you. But I do have a few things to show you that I'm really excited about for fall and just my personal knitting that I can't wait to start wearing and actually finish. So I'm excited to dive into all of that with you today. To begin with, I want to show you my bouquet sweater, which has been a behemoth, and I have not finished it. So the body is done and the sleeves are not. So this is the sweater that you probably remember I ripped out completely just up until the neck rib maybe a month ago. And then I finally reknit it. And it is very, very pretty. I really love it. I had to redo it because of a dye lot issue. So I ended up alternating main color skeins throughout the body of this sweater. Now, the one crazy thing is that the gauge on this sweater is just way too big. And the row gauge in particular is way over. So it's pretty big on me. And I love the graphs at the bottom. Like, how cool are those flower bouquets? I mean, it's just so cool. And for people that missed that first video where I talked about it, this is the Bouquet Sweater by Junko Okamoto. It's one size. Although I will say I've seen people that have knit this where they've matched gauge and it's a lot smaller. So if you wanted to knit it more like mine, I think this is about a 44-inch bust. You could absolutely knit it up on a bigger needle. My gauge is definitely over, and I'm trying to figure out what to do about that because I've got problems. Oh, I should mention the yarn is by Kreo, Kreao, I think. They're a Chicago-based indie dyer. She's a Chicago-based indie dyer. I think I'm spelling that the right way, but I'll make sure to put it in the show notes, the description here. So the weird thing, the thing that's kind of bothering me is that the neck is tight. The neck is, it's not tight. It fits over my head, but it's not big and open. And the rest of the body is going to fit very loose and relaxed. And this doesn't feel that loose and relaxed. So I'm debating what to do about that. The idea of chopping it has been thrown out there and I'm contemplating that. I don't have a ton of my main color yarn left. So I have a game of yarn chicken left for the sleeves. But because this is so oversized, my sleeves aren't actually going to be that long because the armhole is quite deep. So it's already like hitting like to here. So I don't have that much to go on my sleeve. So I'm really hopeful that I'm going to have enough yarn. If not, I might have to rip the body, which would be kind of heartbreaking because I do love the way that these charts and the color work on the bottom turned out. You guys can see the back side is different than the front side, which I love that big one. I really love it. And the technique I used here for the long floats is called the ladder back jacquard technique. So I mixed the ladder back jacquard technique with traditional color work. And I love it. And I think that all the puckering you're seeing, that is going to black out. So I'm excited. I'm a little bit over it just because I've been working on it for so long and I feel like I should be done now. And the fact that it still has some fit stuff going on and yarn chicken is a big TBD. All of these things are kind of painful, but that is par for course when you're knitting, right? And especially in a challenging pattern like this. But I'm really excited about it and hopefully we'll be done those sleeves pretty darn soon. So stay tuned. Definitely by the next making vlog. Okay, so the other sweater I knit, the one that I finished the longest ago, is a Mine Cardigan. So this is a version of our Mine Cardigan or our Mine sweater, but knit as a cardigan. And it's pretty big and fashion forward. So we've got a big sleeve happening. So hopefully you guys can all see that. This is the Spun Cloud yarn with mini kit. So the new Spun Cloud color, Breezy Blue. This is our yarn in the mini kit Bouquet. And it came out really pretty. The sleeve is super fashion. It's not going to fit inside a coat, and it's not meant to, but it's really fun and pretty. And I think what we're planning to do is just to offer a smaller, more tamed down sleeve version for this pattern. So if that giant sleeve isn't really your thing, you can absolutely knit this as a smaller sleeve, and that will be awesome as well. So I love this thing. I really wanted to show you this one. This one was not knit by me. This was knit by Laurel. I designed the pattern in collaboration with her. And it was sort of loosely based on this old Free People sweater. It was a sweater and we turned it into a cardigan. So this is our boho dance yarn in color, Dreamland yarn in color boho dance. And this is the cardigan, and I can try it on for you. It's the coolest thing ever. Like, I'm so excited for this for our photo shoot because I think it's gonna look good with everything. This yarn is just, it's just pretty crazy, but it's so good. And it's going to be a real beginner pattern. So it's seamed, it's not knit in the round and in one piece like a lot of our sweaters are now. And it's just going to be a fantastic basic pattern that is all about the yarn, this crazy, crazy yarn. And in the last video I showed, I think I was knitting one in the color For the Roses. That one's finished. I also knit one in A Case of You. So this is definitely ready for prime time. It is in testing now. And I'm really excited about it. This yarn, we don't have sweater patterns in. So to be able to offer this big statement sweater pattern is so fun. And I should mention those two that I just showed you, the Be Mine and the Dreamland sweater cardigan, those aren't options for the fall knit along. So if you are getting excited for our fall knit along, which I hope you are, that's coming up really soon, those two aren't going to be in it. The cost is high on those ones. And the beginner sweater, I want to keep that as really a beginner sweater. And I think of our knit alongs as they're not totally can be for beginner, but I like there to be a few more complicated things that we can teach and tell people about, show them throughout their knitting. So this one's almost a little bit too basic, and I think the Be Mine's just a wee bit too fashion forward. So those ones are not in the running, but this one is in the running, and I have been knitting a lot of other pieces for the knit along, and many things are being tested right now by a huge size range of knitters that we are just beyond excited to share with you. And that design survey, so we do a little survey where you get to vote on what style you want to knit, and we decide what gets knit by popular vote. That will go out on September 16th, and that is a Wednesday. And then the actual knit along is going to start October 14th. So I'm really, really excited about that. Okay, so I wanted to show you my Kaleidoscope. So this is my Kaleidoscope that I don't think I had even started knitting this before, but I really like it. This is one new color of Spun Clouds called Stormy Weather. I use Stormy Weather and I use French Vanilla, and then I used a new mini kit called, what is it called? It's Ochre Twist, sorry. So this sweater, the short sleeve version, was part of our spring knit along, and we're considering doing it again for fall because it was so incredibly popular. We've just popped a long sleeve onto it, and this sweater is just all about mixing yarn and colors in a really fun, creative way. So I love this. I knit size 1. I did some flared body increases. And yeah, I really like the way it turned out. It feels very easy, like an everyday weekend sweater. So I'm really excited about that. And this one, no ends woven in, no blocking done, but this one is an all ivory version of the same sweater. And how fantastic. It's just so good. And I might have to try it on for you because it's that awesome. And I think after I'm knitting with so much color right now, this feels so like just luxurious to be this, it just palette cleansing. And I love the way you really see the detail of the yarn and the bumps. And so this is this sweater. I'm just loving it. Need to block, need to weave in all the ends. I really like it with the stockinette side out, but I really like it with the reverse stockinette side out too. So let me show you that. Okay, so let's see. So this is the reverse stockinette side out. Let me get the sleeves out. Here we go. Okay, so I think this looks really, really cool too. And I think it looks a little more hand spun. I might have, looks okay. Maybe in the underarm, we have a little hole here that I might need to close up when I separated for the sleeves. But yeah, I really like the way this looks. So my idea here is to weave in my ends so carefully that no one can tell which side is right side or wrong side. So I will report back on that, but I'm looking at it now and I just love the way that the sleeve looks in this yarn and on the reverse side out. And I did the long sleeve version, but I actually flared at the very cuff 2 stitches, and I love the way that turned out. So that is the thing that just came off the needles last night. I have 2 more things to knit before our photo shoot, which is in just a week and a half. And one is going to be, I was thinking of doing the cardigan number 3 by My Favorite Knitwear Things, or My Favorite Things Knitwear. And that just didn't work with our boucle yarn, Serenity, as well as I thought it would. I had trouble getting the gauge, so I decided to try the sweater number 10. And sweater number 10 is just a simple sweater with a really cool puff shoulder detail. So I'm really excited about that. And I am going to knit that. It is just stockinette, all seamless. It's going to be really easy. I was thinking of doing this color, but I think what I'm going to do is these 2 as a stripe. And now, yeah, I think I'm going to do it as a skinny stripe, like a 2-row stripe. I'm really excited about this because, as you can see, I lean toward the pinks and the naturals. So I've been really feeling blue recently. So I'm super into this. So that is on my needles for before the photo shoot. And then I have an Intarsia shawl that's going to have some flowers in it that I also need to whip up. So I'm very, very excited about that. And I guess the only other really exciting thing is that I got to visit my friend Lizzie Schreiner, who owns the yarn store, The Mermaid's Pearl in Wickford, Rhode Island this week. So I'm at my parents' house in Rhode Island, and Lizzie is a good friend of mine. We go to Rhinebeck together. We love all the yarn and all the patterns. So it was really fun. I got this bracelet at her store. It's a wrist ruler, which I've never owned before. I know that a lot of people own them, but she hand dyed these pink, and I'm pretty excited about that. And I also got a bunch of yarn because I have not been in a yarn store. And let me just add an asterisk here. It was just her and I in the store with masks and totally safe and beautiful, the most beautiful yarn store. And I bought a lot of yarn because I just hadn't been in a yarn store and I was just so happy. I think I speak for hopefully a lot of us who've just missed, being able to go into a store. So it was really fun. In our Creative Knitters membership, we're doing an unofficial mohair / stash yarn knit along, and I've picked this really pretty pattern. I don't even know how to say the designer's name. I'll just include a picture here, but it is a designer from the Netherlands. It's a very simple pattern. It's actually knit on a 15mm 19 needle. So I'm sure I'll go down because I'm super loose knitter, but it is super scrappy. It's kind of like Kaleidoscope, but a mohair version. So I got some yarn with this in mind, and I have a fairly good stash of mohair because I've knit a bunch of sweaters that have used it, like the Sorel, the As If Tee, the Paletta. So I and the ranunculus too, actually. So I have a fair amount of yarn left over that this will be perfect for, but I wanted to get a couple other colors. So I'm going to show you that now. I got this, which is hedgehog fiber. I think of this as the quintessential hedgehog fiber color. This is hedgehog fiber, right? So I'm really excited about that. I also got, this is brushed Surrey alpaca from Skein Cocaine. And so this is very special stuff. I mean, it is like, can you even? It is incredible. I love mohair and the brushed Surrey alpaca with indie dyers because it looks like a watercolor painting on yarn. So I'm excited. These two skeins had to come with me. And then I wanted to get just some of my favorite colors, which is light pink and ivory. And this is Cake Yarn, my friend Alyssa's company. So these I think will be great to add in there. Now I'm going to show you, I did get yarn for another ranunculus. And this is because you might remember, if you've been following along for a while, that I actually knit one of these for one of my best friends who I actually haven't seen since May from afar. And I knit her a ranunculus, and I want to knit another one for one of my good friends who has a birthday in December. So I have enough time. And these are the colors that Lizzie actually helped me pick out the colors for my ranunculus before it was this yarn combination, which I really liked. It felt very luxurious. So this is the combo that I'm going for my friend. So it's Madeline Tosh and Primrose yarn. So I think that's going to be really pretty. I'm excited about that. And the other yarn that I went away with, which I'm thinking I may add into my mohair situation, is this hedgehog fiber DK yarn. So I'm not sure, I might add this in. I don't know what that's gonna look like, but I really liked it. I like that it had these ochre tones and pink and purple. So I've got that too. So you can see I did really do some yarn damage, but after I get the two things done for the next photo shoot and my bouquet sweater, I've got to finish that. I will be doing this mohair stash idea, which of course it's a stash idea, but I bought yarn for as happens. But I will be using a lot of my stash too. And I know I have spoken about and talked about a few other yarns and projects that I do have yarn for. So one of them is an Oregon sweater I have yarn for, and that is a complicated cable knit sweater. And honestly, after the bouquet, I just want some simple things to knit. I'm into this mohair stash idea. I'm into trying the Stephen West shawl dotted rays and seed stitch. I think that could be a really fun one for stash and just a mindless kind of knit to do anywhere. So the Oregon pattern is gonna stay on the back burner for a little bit. And then I have yarn for a diaphanous raglan, which I think will be a very easy knit. So I would like to knit that, but I'm actually not sure I want to knit that. I'm kind of on the fence about that one right now, but I do have yarn for it. So TBD. I'm just feeling like I have a few sweaters that are similar, so I'm kind of TBD about that, but I will keep you posted. So that's what's happening in my knitting. I also have been doing a fair amount of behind the scenes stuff for Free People, Anthropology, and some knitting there, lots of designing. So it's all been really fun, but just a whole ton and a whole slew of work. But overall, just incredibly grateful that I get to do this every day. So thank you so much for chiming in. If you have any thoughts on any of the things I spoke about, I'd love to hear from you. The bouquet sweater, I'm curious if you think I should open up that neck, and if you have any techniques for me. Would it sort of be like steeking? That's what I'm imagining, is I would figure out a way to use the steeking technique to chop off the neck and make it more open, more like the ranunculus neckline. Is what I'm thinking. So let me know what you think. Fall photo shoot is coming up. The design survey for our fall knit along is coming up. So I encourage you to stay tuned and have your vote cast and heard for that. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right. Have an awesome day.